Everyone, so today I'm going to do a get ready with me using the Lorac Pro and all my new Project Pan items. So I've already primed my face and I'm now going to prime my eyes with the Balm's Put a Lid on It eye primer. So I push this all over my eyelids to make the shadow stay, and I also pull it through my brows a little bit to make them, last longer as well. So for my brows, I'm actually just going to use the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade to fill them in. So I just use a little angled brush and put the color where I need it, just kind of, soften up the look and make them look full all the way through. If you'd like to see a brow video, please let me know. I can definitely do that for you. So now I'm just going to comb them out so they look a little bit more blended and natural. And now I'm going to move on to my eyes. So I'm going to use the eye base from Sigma in the shade Provoke that I've been loving. And this is kind of like painterly. It's really soft and silky, and it's a nude, kind of peachy shade, and it just cancels out any darkness, any veining, any redness, anything like that, and I just love it. Here I'm taking Benefit Eye Bright and I'm brightening up the inside of my eyes there. I get a lot of darkness, so I like to brighten up, and now I'm going to jump into the Lorac Pro. This is what it looks like if you have not seen it. I'm currently using it in my 2015 Pan That Palette Challenge. So I'm going to start with an angled brush like this and go in with the shade White. It's a matte shade and I really love it kind of as a base eyeshadow. So I'm going to be putting this from my lash line all the way up to my brows on both sides, just very lightly dusting it on. This kind of sticks to the base and allows my shadows to blend a little bit better. If I don't put this down, I find that my base is almost too sticky, and then my shadows kind of get splotchy. So now I'm going to go in and do my crease transition area. So I'm using a soft blending brush like that with the shade Taupe. It's just a mid-tone kind of warmer brown. And I'm going to be putting this in my crease just like this. I like to go back and forth kind of in windshield wiper motions and then in little circles as well. And I like to have a little bit darker on the outside and then work it lighter on the inside. So I'm going to concentrate my brush on the outside of my eye a little bit more than the inside. And now I'm going to go on with a smaller crease brush. This one's from Target. And I'm going to use the shade Sable. So this is a darker, warmer brown, and I like to put this right in my crease, so kind of right where my eye goes in, and I'm going to just be pushing that in there. I use a very, very little amount of product, and then I just blend it in really well. I mean, I could spend probably 5 minutes just blending this in. I was really scared to use the shadow from the palette, and then one day I decided I'm just lightly going to put it in the crease, and I've been loving how it looks. I keep it really concentrated, but I love the dimension it adds, and it just makes my eyes look a little bit, I don't know, deeper and, just a little bit extra to the look that I'm already doing, and it's a way for me to use the shadow in the palette because I'm trying to use it all up. So I'm just going to finish blending that out, and that's what it looks like so far. Now I'm taking a shader brush on the shade Light Bronze, and this is one of my favorite shades in the palette, and I'm going to be putting this all over my lid from the inside all the way out to the outside of my eye, just lightly putting that on both sides. And then I'm going to be taking the other side of that brush and I'm going to use the shade Garnet, and this is kind of like a warmer coppery shade. It's just beautiful. So I use this in the, outer half, outer 3/4, but I start with the product on the outside and pull it in like that. And now I'm wetting a brush with, this is just rose water spray from Mario Badescu, and I'm going to be putting that brush into Champagne. Champagne is a very glittery, kind of gritty shade, so I find that using it wet works best. So I'm going to be tapping that all along my eye to add some more sparkle and shine and to blend those two other shades together a little bit better. So this is what it looks like here. Now I'm going to go and line my eyes. I'm using the Urban Decay double-sided liner. This is in 0, so it's just a black shade. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm just, doing a nice line and adding a little bit of a tail. It's not a wing or anything like that, just a little bit extra on the end. So I'm going to be doing that, and then I like to go through my lashes with the lash primer. This one is from Tarte, and unfortunately this is discontinued, so if you know of a lash primer that you love that is black, please let me know. I am on the hunt for one. I have one left, and then that's it. So now I'm going to be putting a nude liner in my waterline from Tarte, and now I'm going to be setting my eyeliner. I'm going to use black from the Lorac Pro, and I like to just use a flat brush. This one is from e.l.f. I'm pretty sure it's $1. It's a very flat cut, and I just like to stamp the shadow onto my eyeliner. It makes it stay a little bit longer, it makes it darker, and if my eyeliner isn't perfect, this is where I can kind of even it out so you can't tell. So there is the eye look for now. I'm going to go and clean up under the eyes with a makeup remover wipe. There's a ton of fallout with this palette. And then once I do that, my eyes get really dry and it's winter, so I'm going to use the e.l.f. Daily Moisture Stick. Just rub my finger in there and then kind of dab or pat on the moisture. Like it's kind of like a gel. So I'm going to rub that in and really make sure that my eyes are moisturized again. And now moving on to foundation, I'm mixing the Too Faced BB Cream in the shade Vanilla Glow with the Urban Decay Naked Skin Foundation in the shade 2.0. I'm kind of going to go through this quickly. There's not, much to say. I do have a foundation routine video up on my channel, and I can definitely link that down below if you're interested in that. So today I'm using a flat kabuki. This one is angled though, but it still has that flat cut to it. So I'm just going to be working this in. The Too Faced BB Cream, I really like it and it's a good color match, but it is a little bit too dewy for me personally. So when I mix it with a foundation, it just turns out to be very, like glowy, but not too glowy for me at least. So I'm going to be mixing these on, really getting into my hairline to make sure it's all blended, and then I'm going to be letting it dry. So while I do that, I'm going to do my concealer. This is the Pixi Under Eye Brightening Corrector in Brightening Peach, and I just use my finger and I kind of dab it onto the darkest area of my eyes. It really covers brightness, or it really covers darkness and brightens really well. And then I'm going to go in with the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Vanilla, and first I'm going to be spot concealing any spots or blemishes that I may have. And then I just, use the littlest amount and then just work it in with my finger. I find that it blends best just with a finger. So I'm going to be doing that, and then I'm going to be putting it underneath my eyes to brighten there. So I just dot some on, and then again use my fingers to blend it all in. And this just helps, kind of highlight that area without being too extreme. Then I'm going to go in with the Josie Maran Coconut Watercolor Cheek Gelée and a e.l.f. This is a small stipple brush. They have a larger one too. And I just put it onto my hand first, and then I'm going to work it into my cheeks like this. So this one is in Poppy Paradise. It's kind of like a corally, I don't know, pinky kind of a color. It's not orange and it's not pink. It's kind of right in between. So I just stipple this on to give a nice kind of healthy glow. And then I'm going to use my NYX Matte Finish Spray to spray onto my face and kind of let that all sink in together. So while that is drying, I'm going to use the Anastasia Tinted Brow Gel in Blonde to set my brows. And now I'm going to set my face. This is the Tarte Smooth Operator setting powder, and I use a big fluffy brush, and this is just going to kind of set my foundation, make it stay. It's not going to be too tacky anymore. And then after I kind of set my whole face, I do go in and cover a little bit more shine control in the center of my face, kind of in the T-zone area. So now I'm going to be grabbing my Mally Poreless Face Defender, and I use a sponge with it. So I just kind of dab the sponge in it and rub it around, and I very, very, very lightly just blot this onto where I need it. So I do my nose, my chin, and my forehead typically, and that is it. And like I said, I just use the smallest amount of product. So now to warm up my face, I'm using the Pixi Subtly Sun Touch Bronzer and a big fluffy brush. This one is from Real Techniques. It is the blush brush, but for me it's just too big for blush. So I like to use it for bronzer to warm up my face. I'm going to use this on the perimeter of my face and down my neck just to make sure everything is warmed up and blended. Then to contour, I'm going to use my Anastasia Contour Kit, and this is a angled brush. You can also use this for bronzer, but I really like this for contouring because it's a little bit more forgiving than a traditional contour brush. It's not too harsh, where this really lets me blend it out, and it doesn't apply too much concentrated product. I can really have a lot of control with it. So I'm also going to go down my nose very lightly, and then I'm going to highlight. So that is a e.l.f. blush brush, and I use this underneath my eyes with those two matte highlight shades. I use it underneath my eyes, and then above and below the contour and down the center of my face, anywhere you would want to highlight. Use it above and below the contour just to really make the contour pop a little bit more and make it a little bit more effective. And that is basically it. So now for blush, I'm going to use the Too Faced Perfect Blush Flush Blush in the shade Peach Beach. That is so hard to say. And this one is just kind of giving a nice glow. I don't need too much of highlight with this because it is so glowy. So for highlighter, I'm using the Laura Mercier Baked Matte Radiance highlighter and a fan brush just to lightly dust the powder on without going overboard. And then I'm going to use a fluffier brush with the same powder to use it as a finishing powder just to give my face and my skin a little bit more of a glow. So I'm going to wipe off my lips if there's any foundation there and set my face with the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. And then I'm going to go back in with the Lorac Pro, and I'm going to use white on the same brush that I used before. I use this underneath my brow bone to highlight. I prefer a matte highlight under there. I don't really like the look of a shimmery one, so I love the shade white for that. And then I'm going to take a pencil brush with the shade Light Pink, and this one is going to go right where I put the Benefit Eye Bright earlier. So right on the inside of my eyes there to really brighten up. I find this light pink just does the perfect job. Then I'm going to wet another pencil brush and then use champagne again. And this goes right on the tear duct to really brighten and add that, really light, strong highlight that kind of shimmers and sparkles in the light. And so that's it. And then I'm going to be taking Slate underneath my lash line. And again, I use a flat brush from e.l.f. And this one I just kind of stamp onto my lash line. I can get as close as I can this way, and I can get as dark as I want. So I'm going to be just doing that on both eyes. I tend to focus it on the outside and not on the inside of my lower lash line. Then I'm going to put on some mascara. This is the Mally Volumizing Mascara. I love this mascara. It is the first tube I've gone through. Mine is almost done, and I cannot wait to open up another one. I might use a different mascara for a little bit, but this is so incredible. Everything everyone has ever said about it is so true. It feels like the right formula right when you open it. It feels like you've already had it open for a couple of weeks. It's just perfect from the get-go, and it only gets better. So I really have been loving this mascara. Now for my lips, I'm going to line them with my Essence in the Nude Lip Liner. This is in my Project Pan, so I'm going to line them and fill them in. So I've been using this almost every day just to, get through the product. Then to top it, I'm going to use a Revlon lipstick that is also in my Project Pan. It is called Pink in the Afternoon. It's a great, neutral pink. It goes with anything. I'm going to top it with a Bite Gloss in the shade number 5, and that is it for my look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!